Morning guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Well, been a little busy, my apologies. So the videos are falling behind. It happens. Back to working on the S10. It's getting ready to say C10. And back in the garage. Boy, it's been a long 10 days. Put about 3,000 miles on my truck and spent countless hours working on the house, getting it ready, because it's finally up on the market. So that's not why you're here. Why are you here? I ask myself that every single day. Why am I here? Because we are gonna knock this build out in one day, I wish. Let me show you what we're working on. I had to open up the cross member inside of here for the oil pan to clear. Ow. Just whacked my side on that. We're going to be sliding the engine back roughly an inch. I want to show you how we're going to situate those engine mounts. But this was something that I've been needing to do. I don't want to say putting off, but I've been needing to do it. There's a lot of other things in here that I need to do. Capping the member, upside, downside, all that stuff. Upper arms we got to make. I had ordered these at the time for Scott's truck. Not that it really matters. They're all the same mount. But I couldn't find these. So I had to resort to taking my son's. Here we are. Now we need to move this back an inch. So the way we're going to do this is pretty simple. Clean this up, get all the powder coating off. This is about where she sat. Inside of here, we're going to slide this back an inch to push the engine forward. Weld this all up really nice and close in these voids, and we should be good to go. One thing I want to point out, I don't even know how this happened, but I've never seen bushings do this, where they break apart in your hands. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but we're going to replace the bushings and get this thing done. So first things first, we're going to knock this bushing out. Since it's useless, it's no good. I ain't never seen anything like it, to be honest with you. Ta-da! And we're going to cut this along this edge right here. Bzz, bzz. So originally I had a plan. Get my glasses on. We were going to take the mount, move it back an inch, weld it up, close the hole up, and I said, you know what? That'll work, but we can do better. Then I came up with this plan and make it so she's where she needs to be. And now we don't have a giant hole that we've got to close up. Is take my marker. We're going to trace this out inside of here. Our mount needed to be right here. All right, grab some self-etching primer. Put a little spritz. He's going to powder coat all this stuff. I just don't want it to rust. I feel bad giving him a pile of rust. All that stuff that we're working on. But that's it, man. But she looks good. I got it on the top and the bottom, all four sides. Put a little more primer on it. Just so she don't rust. I'm tired of looking at rust. So while we got some time, while the stuff is drying, I wanted to share a not so funny story with you guys. So my wife and I were in Leroy, West Virginia. It's almost the end of the night, coming up on 6 p.m. We had one more house that we wanted to see. Really pretty log cabin house. I don't know, something like 15 acres, but it was on the top of a mountain. So mind you, on our way to this location, we were taking the back roads, and I lost service on my cell phone, and I wanted to punch in because my friend lives over there in San. Man, you had to have seen this road that we climbed up. It wasn't a road, it was a dirt trail. It was more like a side-by-side trail. In the beginning of this trail, houses were, you know, to the left and to the right, but as you got deeper into it, there were no more houses. And I was so fixated on going to see this house, I almost rolled my truck off the side of a mountain. It was bad. It was really bad. So I don't think the west side of West Virginia is going to be for us. She's a little dirty. You can see my wheel here getting caught up in some mud, but we got to wash it. I got scratches from I don't know what I was thinking, the trees. So that's my not so funny story for this video. All right, we're gonna get these bushings. Oh, hot stuff coming through in this engine mount. I like to use a little WD. This stuff dries up pretty quick. You can see I'm not fighting it. I don't like fighting bushings. And not only that, Scott's gonna need to take all this apart when he gets it powder coated anyway. So we got a little grease zerk or some sort in here, I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna get this installed on the engine. I need to make a new transmission mount since we moved the engine up an inch. Not a big deal. Don't know if I have the steel here to do it. Might have to wait until Monday. Go to Alro, pick up some steel. We'll just have to see. Why is this one being stubborn? There it is. There it is. So all we have left is to cut this off and make a new one that's a inch or so longer, or transmission mount. I'm not sure if I showed you guys this, but I clearanced, yes I did, the cross member. So we're gonna drop the engine back in. I don't think it's gonna work, but it's worth a shot. There it is. Got access to our bolt, which we didn't have before. This was right on the edge of here. Gained clearance. Clearance is clearanced now on the exhaust manifold. Such a beautiful thing. You can see the oil pan fits nicely in there. Oh yes. Oh yes. We've got clearance around the engine. Oh boy, that looks great. I'm very excited. On to the next. Didn't get to show you guys this, but I ended up finishing this piece right here, and she looks good. So next step is going to be making the transmission mount and closing this tunnel and finishing the corner over there and getting the pedals situated. I'm excited because this is a giant step in a positive direction to getting this truck done. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. Sometimes putting it off doesn't help, but I'm excited, very excited. And that's what keeps us motivated. That's what keeps us going in the right direction. All right, now we're on to the hardest part for me, at least. I should have left more meat on the bone, and you're gonna see in just a second. But first time for everything, you learn from your mistakes. Not that it's a big deal, it's metal. But here we go, take a look. So I'm starting to create the tunnel. I've double checked it, laying the body on the chassis. What I should have done is I should have gave myself more material on the inside, but it's not the end of the world. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a professional, because I'm far from it. I'm using basic tools with my skill set that I've got to close this tunnel up. There probably is a better way that I'm not aware of, and that's okay. But metal is metal. If you can work with metal and learn to finesse it, you can make it look seamless. At least in my mind, that's my goal. So enough of the talk, here we go. All right, so we got our templates traced out. I've got some marks on here. I've got to cut and trim this panel up, but basically now I've got something to work with. Remember, this edge has to get rolled, so we're going to trim this back, roll an edge to plug weld it onto the firewall, and then I can actually put a design into here along with the second paddle, which I'm going to wait to add some strength to it. So I went ahead and used my speed square and traced a 1/2 inch line. This edge is going to get tipped. We're going to use a tipping die. So we're going to swap these dies out. Pop these off, pretty easy. What worked for me is using the roller skate wheel along with this round edge, and this is how we're going to get. I usually lock it in the middle because the rubber wheel likes to walk on you. And as we roll it, we're going to lift up the corner. To get it to roll. You see the edges starting to roll? And I'll show you how we finish it the rest of the way. See how our flange is sort of rolled up? Now the shrinker will finish it the rest of the way. Here's where it gets a little tricky. You can really ruin this, so you kind of really need to pay attention to what you're doing. Now, as I'm biting with the shrinker, I'm going to bend it up a little. And there we go. My apologies. I wanted to show the stretching, but it's basically the same as shrinking. Our line is basically center, which is good. I've got a couple of self-tappers down here on both sides. Now I'm gonna use my cutoff wheel, cut off that other template. And obviously you could see if I would have had more meat on this, this would have been perfect, you know, but I don't know what I was thinking. Shit happens. It's metal. I can make it look really nice. It's not the end of the world, but that's the start of our tunnel. Now remember, we still need to put a flange on this for that. This piece can butt up to that nicey nice. So another thing to keep in mind. Now, I've just got it screwed in here temporarily, but once I do some trimming and cleaning and finessing, it'll really look good. Really can't ask for much more than that, you know. Got plenty of clearance. Our hole is closed, and we're that much closer to getting this bad boy done. Obviously, you can see where I went wrong and how I will fix it next time. Obviously, everything's welded in, but it's all part of learning, man. Having confidence in what you do and trusting the process. All right, moving right along. We added some material to the firewall for our tunnel. Got a little bit more hammer and dollying to do in some of the corners. Don't forget, this entire firewall is going to get glassed over, so it's not really the end of the world, but I'm trying to smooth it out as best as possible. So I went ahead and drew out some patterns on this. So what I was thinking of doing was this guy right here, when I bead roll it, is going to go under, and these along the side here will be recessed out. And as you can see, the line, how it continues, you know, rolling this way, well, this is all going to carry through to the next panel. That's why I've done it this way. So this line will continue, not these. This will stop here. This will stop here. This will carry through. And there we go. So we're going to sit this in, screw it in, and start working on the next piece. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I really love it when a plan comes together. So now you can see our design, how it'll all tie into everything. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to measure out another piece. It's going to stop right about here. Looks like I need to do a little bit of trimming. I got to somehow square this up. The other thing I was thinking of doing, believe it or not, was widening this up more, this hole. For that, I could cap this piece right in here, cut the excess off that's underneath. So the tunnel will come and it'll stop basically here. And then there'll be a smaller piece that will carry through to the back of the truck. And you can see we need to do a little bit of trimming to this edge right here. A little hammer and dollying. But for the most part, she looks good, man. Looks really good. So guys, a while back, Virginia's for Lowriders, Mr. Crawford sent me $50 in coffee money, and I told him that I was going to make him a special heart for the coffee wall up here. If you don't know about the coffee wall, let me show you what it's all about. All these subscribers sent in some monies. A silver heart is a $2 donation. A yellow heart is a $5 donation. A red heart is a $10 donation, and the larger of the hearts are anything greater than $10. So this was, I want to say, around Mini Nats when he had sent in this donation. That's how busy my mind has been. But we're going to make him a special heart today to put up on the wall. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So we took a larger heart, we trimmed it up really nice. It's been sitting here for a couple of days, so I just want to scuff it up really good, get any surface rust off of it. Now she's nice and clean. Take my favorite stuff, acetone. No, I don't sniff it, although you can sniff it. I know some people that do sniff it. We're going to wipe this down really good, get any greasy prints, any contaminants on it. What we're going to do is we're going to paint this heart red. So we're going to hit this whole heart with red. And we're going to let this dry, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do afterwards. So basically we're going to take one of the smaller hearts and we're going to sit it over the bigger heart, and then we're going to paint the edge of it black. So you'll have a red center with a black border, basically signifying Virginia's for Lowriders, and we'll write his name in the center of it. That's as best as I can do with what I have. I think that's gonna stand out really nice on the wall over here. Crawford, I love you like a brother. I really appreciate it. I just want you to know I have not forgotten about you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Let's get back to work. All right, so we're gonna need 15 inches by 27 inches. Gonna use our sheetrock square. Trace this out like this. And then a like this. I prefer to use an electric shear, such as this one. You can pick them up at Harbor Freight. They're not that expensive. We need to do is knock this edge down that the shear puts on here. So my preferred method to bend this panel would have been to use that pipe, that column that's leaning up against the wall that attaches to my table here. We need to bend this into a U, but unfortunately we don't have any room on the table. So we're going to do this old school. The piece that's up in the firewall, I did this the exact same way. Put my foot over it, and we're gonna bend this up. Gently bending it back. This is 18 gauge, by the way. Not too bad. Pretty close. You see our center mark. It's 13.5, total of 27.5 inches. And we're going to slide this up underneath the floor. All right, so this is challenging by myself. We've got a self-tapper loaded in our gun. I'm using new ones. I want the head to sit firmly in the screw. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this in from underneath like this. Get my center mark lined up. Like this. Take my gun. Got one in. There we go. Okay. She shouldn't roll anymore. We want this up firmly against this metal piece, the metal portion of the floor. So what we're going to do now is push this up in here like this. Roll that under. And we're going to put a self-tapper. Oh, you son of a bitch. I probably should have drilled it, pre-drilled it, but it's okay. Oh. Here it is. Okay, one more. Pop that against here, like that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There it is. Okay. So off camera, I took some self-tappers and pushed two in the corner to push the metal against the flange that's existing. Let me show you what I've got. There it is. So now what I'm going to do is trace this out right here. We can fill this in, it's not a big deal. Remember, we need to add a 1/2 inch onto this once we trace this out. Let me get a marker. And we're just gonna put a line right here so we know where our panel is gonna be. We're not putting a line here. We'll show you what we're gonna do with that after. Get on the other side. So these screws right here is what I pushed in. That's what I was just doing by myself. Or that's what I just got done doing. Putting a line here. Now we're going to take this down. All right, so you see this extra material? This is what's going to get cut off. So we're putting a line right here. Because remember, this piece is going to sit in the inside just like the other one. So once we cut this material off, she'll sit right against the floor, right where it needs to be. Just like that. Now we can go ahead and pull our screws out. Drop this panel down. One more screw. Yeah. All right, let's trim it up. All right, so remember, before we cut this, we need to add on, we'll call it 3/4 inch. So we're just going to freehand this. Like that. My hands are cramping up. Dehydrated. Like this. And there it is. This is what we trimmed, or we traced from underneath. So we're going to cut it here. We're going to cut it here, and then we're going to flange this. This will come like this, and this piece will slide up into the other piece, and it'll get spot welded from the top. Not sure if you guys have seen this before. I bought this tool many years ago. It's a dual purpose tool. And basically what it does is, if you look, you see the jaw? This will put a divot into the metal. So for example, let's just say for argument's sake, you wanted to butt these two together, these two pieces. You're not gonna butt them together this way. What you do is you take this pneumatic tool, and it'll only go in so far. basically what it does is I kind of did this half butt, but if you look, you see what it did to the steel? Now you can take your steel and you can put it on the edge and see how nice that looks. But we got something better. All right, Brandon, this is for you, Mr. Low Crash Fab. He made a comment. Hey man, I want to see a bead roll. Here we go, brother. This is an inside offset die. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to roll an edge on this so our tunnel will rest inside of this line. We're going to bevel this edge for that the steel from the tunnel will sit right on top of this. And there it is. So now we take this piece and we slide it under like this, and we can plug weld our panels together. Our pieces are joined together. This is off just a little bit. You can see the seam, and I'll correct that once I'm done bead rolling. But this line is going to be inside. So it'll be like this. This line will be raised, and this will reinforce the entire side of the tunnel. I got to tweak it a little bit still. Well, unfortunately, my bead rolling didn't go as planned. I wanted to roll some lines up in the center, but because I have this lip rolled, it won't fit into the bead roller, so I had to cut it short right into here with both of the lines. Kind of stinks. If I didn't roll this flange, I would have been able to have flattened out the piece and gotten it to work, but hey, I mean, it's better than nothing. So we're gonna put this together and rest this thing back in the truck. There it is, all together. Like I said, I wanted to roll some lines down the center. I thought it would have looked really nice, but hey man, it's all good. All good. A couple holes I got to fill in from self-tappers, but you can see I got my spot weld holes ready to go. See how our flange worked out really nice. Got a little more tweaking I got to do once I apply some tacks in there. Not a big deal. I can finesse it a little more, but here it is, man. There's a lot of work in this. A lot of work in this son of a gun. And Mr. Crawford, I appreciate you, brother. This is the closest thing that I could think of that would resemble your channel. The heart in Virginia is for lowriders. My brother, you're going to be the only one up there with a red and black heart. So I appreciate you very much. And again, overall, man, I am very pleased how this came out. I still have some grinding and finessing that I need to do, but all in all, I think it's very symmetrical. I think it looks very good. Once this thing is glassed over and has paint on it, it's really, really going to pop. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that Scotty was going to paint the truck silver, maybe with a, I don't know, red interior. Well, he could do his firewall silver, and then these he can do red or some sort. You know, he can change the color of them. It'll stick out really nice, man. It'll look real good. And don't forget that we've got these bad boys to put in there too. So it's going to look really nice once it's all together. I can't wait to see it. Guys, there is countless hours and sweat and tears into this truck. Please do me a favor, comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Show your appreciation. It really means a lot to me. We're trying to get this channel to grow so we can be a world famous YouTuber. All right, guys, there it is. Firewall is done, D-O-N-E. I am done at least. Everything's cleaned up. I'm gonna put some etching primer on it. And I got a surprise I'd like to do. So I was on the phone with Scott the other day asking him about what colors he wants to use in the truck. And he was saying he'd like to use a matte gray. So I've got a nice little idea. I hope you enjoy it. So we're basically done now with the firewall, and I wanted to do something cool, obviously to make a really nice looking thumbnail. I went to the hardware store, picked up some gloss smoke gray. It's almost like a matte color, kind of what I believe that Scott wants to paint the truck. Clearly there's no body work done or anything like that, but I thought it would be really cool to two-tone the firewall. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Here we go. So remember, this is just for funsies. I mean, it'd be nice to see this thing all finished, but this will work for now. There's really no reason to do this aside of, like I said, creating a nice looking thumbnail. Excuse me. All right, guys, so we got our base color on here. I decided to tape up these patterns. So obviously everything that's gray down here is going to get satin black. Everything that's blue up here is gonna stay gray. This is just for funsies. Here we go. Getting ready to catch a flight. Couple of hours. My wife and I are headed back to West Virginia again. We're gonna spend a few, 3-4 days there. This is me just kind of being creative, having a little fun. Obviously, there's no body work done to the firewall. This all has to get taken down to bare metal and get all prepped and body worked and all that happy horse shit. That looks pretty good. I think that's gonna look really nice. I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit. Let the paint dry. And we'll get all this tape off and see how it looks. So I've got a lot of hours into making this firewall and the tunnel. And for me, even though it's just spray paint, it's nice to see all that hard work, what you did, what it could look like once it's all glassed over. It's just little things like this that keeps us motivated. A little bit of progress, you know. It's kind of really why I wanted to do it. And I think, you know, once this is all glassed over, you can see the spots that are going to need body work and what have you, but it's going to look really nice. And the hardest part of this firewall was the fact that there's galvanizing in the steel and how this portion of the firewall is pushed out. It's just very odd shaped. And it kind of threw me for a loop. It's not like a C10 or an Impala or a Mazda or a Nissan where it's all just flat and you can simply do your own thing. There it is, buddy. Virginia is for lowriders. Thank you very much. You know I appreciate you, brother. Guys, keep in mind I rushed this. I got to catch a flight in like 2 hours, and I really wanted to see this. So my tape lines were really off, and I didn't have fine line tape, but man, check it out. Very cool. Just a little something I wanted to see it done, you know, or not really done, but what it could look like once all the body work is done, and it'll come out really nice. A couple rattle cans here. Very cool, man. That's it, man. The firewall is basically set. Obviously, we got to get some body work done to it. Next on the agenda is going to be the front suspension. Very excited to get this off the table, aired out on the ground. Really looking forward to seeing that. Comment down below you like what you're seeing. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We'll be back soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a video up next week or not, but it was a lot of effort that went into putting this video together. So if this doesn't deserve a like, I'm gonna give it up. So have a great day. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.